In mathematics, we have these things called functions. In a function, every input has only one output. Okay, so that means, like in equations, you could start by plugging in a number for y, see what it is for x. Okay, with functions, there's a starting point that we clearly identify, right? In function notation, it looks really similar to an equation, but instead of y, we have this notation which reads f of x. Okay, so this is an equation that would make a straight line just like this equation would. They're identical. Okay, but the important thing to note is that x is like our domain variable. It's the thing we plug into the function, and y is the thing that's coming out of the function. So this is a function because any number you plug in for x, you can only get one y for it. But check out this equation. Let's say x is our starting point. If you plug in 1 in for x, do you only get one output for y? You know, if you try to think of a number so that you square it equals x, well, if you plug in 1, that makes it be true, right? 1 squared is 1. Or you could also have -1. -1 squared makes 1. So this is not a function because x equals 1 has two different outputs. Okay, it's not a function of x. Yeah, not a function of x. There we go. Okay, that's the basics of a function. Every input has to have one output. And we can analyze that with graphs, and we'll get to this weird thing over here in the left in just a second. This graph is a graph of a function, and the way we can tell is by checking out every x coordinate. Is there only one y coordinate that goes with it? And if that's true, that's a function. So they call that the vertical line test. If you can draw a vertical line everywhere in the equation, everywhere in the graph, and it only touches once, it's a function. Okay, so the vertical line test, you can draw a vertical line and it should only touch the graph of the equation once. So check out this equation. If you draw vertical lines, touches in two different places. So x equals -1, or whatever this x coordinate is, it has two outputs. So this is not a function. So if it touches in more than one place, it is not a function. So over here we have a function that's just a bunch of dots. If you draw a vertical line through these dots, it only touches once, right? So it passes the vertical line test. It's a function. But now if I add in another dot right here, and you try to use the vertical line test, it's going to cross, well, I didn't really draw it very well, but let's pretend those are straight on top of each other. It doesn't pass the vertical line test because it touches two places on that vertical line. Okay, that's pretty much the basics of function notation. If you see something like this, where the x has been replaced, that means just plug -5 in for x into your equation. And then simplify. So 2 times -5 makes -10. -10 plus 1 makes -9. So you could say f of -5 is -9. Okay, graphing functions is the same way. I think I already showed that a little bit real quick, but when you try to graph a function, just replace the f of x with y, right? It's got a y-intercept of 1 and a slope of 2. So same deal.